welcome back to Shelf Talks, the podcast where we celebrate the game-changing women bringing their brands to retail shelves. I'm your host, Roberta, and today we're talking about more than just products. We're talking about purpose, representation, and breaking barriers. I'm excited to introduce our guest, Ardean Miller, founder of Mah Melanin, a feel-good brand that's redefining diversity and inclusion in consumer packaged goods. And she's making history, becoming the first Black-owned brand to partner with Sam's Club, Hallmark, and Lowe's in the gift wrap category. And I'm really excited to hear how she did it. So welcome, Ardean.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be able to speak with you.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're here, definitely. So let's dive in.
Ooh.
So can you tell us a little bit about what your life was like before starting Mah Melanin?
Oh, yeah. So actually, I'd like to describe myself, or as my tagline states, I am just a girl from the hood with a dream that turned it into a reality. And so that is where my life started. You know, I just grew up in a neighborhood that so many people looked down on. So many people wanted people who look like me to actually not feel valued, important, and not really understand the magic that we have within. And so my life began with that, but also wanting to be able to own my truth and have so many people who have experienced the things that I experienced to own their truth. So life for me was learning and being the first person within my home to graduate from college. So I actually have a degree in business, computer information systems, and a master's in engineering. And it wasn't easy, right? Throughout each of those processes, I had to teach myself to learn how to navigate through the college experience. But what happened is, after me, started having my sister who entered college. She's now a pharmacist. My daughter, who's an attorney, and then my second daughter, she's in college now. So it's always about changing the trajectory of my surroundings and all of those individuals, again, who shared the same experience. But then there's another side, right? Because that is the side of growing up and seeing my parents work really hard day after day and me not wanting their hard work to go in vain. And I really wanted to show them that, hey, you did great in life, right? You did great with raising your children. And so I always aspired from that as well, to be a hard worker and to, again, create something that would change the world. So I didn't really know what it was. Like, I had the passion since young, growing up, seeing products that didn't look like me. They didn't accurately represent who I was. They did more damage than it did build up to certain, to the communities. And so I experienced all of those things. But in the end, when I became older, I found my zone of genius. I had my children, right? And so at this point, I'm an adult with kids, and I'm purchasing products for them for Christmas and wrapping them in gift wrap. And I'm like, the gift wrap does not look like anyone in my family. So that's what life was like before Mah Melanin. It was learning, teaching myself, beating the odds and the obstacles, believing in myself, believing in my truth, believing in my magic, but most of all, not believing the hype and the noise around me that really wanted me to believe that I could not accomplish my goals and my dreams.
Yeah. And I think too, hearing that, just the fact that you were kind of the catalyst for the balance of your family and your children to kind of follow in the path, kind of that what they always say, where you have to see it to believe that it's possible for you. So when they saw you, doing it, they felt that they could do that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because it really only just takes one change maker, right?
Yeah.
Like, it really does. One change maker can just shift the dynamics of the world, communities, individuals. And that's all it really takes. But it also takes having the confidence that you can be that change maker. Because it's not always easy to be a change maker, but it's not impossible either.
Yeah. And I'm sure challenging to be the first in many instances, right?
Yeah.
So you're wrapping, gifts for your children, and you're seeing that this wrapping paper doesn't reflect you or your community or your kids, of course, which is most important. So what were next steps for you?
Oh, wow. So next steps were honestly figuring out how can I change that? What can I do so that my kids can feel the presence and be seen in wrapping paper and other products? Because at this point, I'm just tired of waiting for someone else to create it. And if they create it, they can't create it based on, they most likely won't create it based on our experiences in our environment. So the next step was to, hey, I'm going to create it. I'm going to be the one to create that product. And so after having that thought in my mind of creating it, the next step was to just go to work. Go to work through research. Go to work. Well, let me just bring that back. Because a lot of times when we talk about next steps, we talk about like, what are the steps to bring the product into fruition? What are the steps to bring the business into fruition? But there's a whole nother step that's way before that. And that's called preparing yourself. And that's the step that a lot of that I feel is missed so many times. Because you can have the best idea in the world, and you can have the best business in the world, but if you are not prepared mentally, if you have not done the proper research, then that can have a huge impact on your brand and if it even exists. So the first thing I did was building myself, building the confidence that this is something that I can actually accomplish. So it went into research, right? I did the proper research, making sure that I was well educated within the area that I wanted to go in. Because initially I wasn't really sure what product I was going to create. I just knew I wanted him to be a Santa, because that's how it started. So created that Santa, started with a graphic designer, created, oh, this is going to be so, this is good. Okay. So created okay. So created the Santa, and I'm like, I know I want to do that. So created Santa. He's the only one that wears a gold chain, matching S shoes, okay, and gold rim glasses, because I wanted him to bring out like the essence of our community. And the essence of our community, we have swag, right? So I needed to find a way for him to bring out the swag and it to be relatable to the community. So that's the gold chain and the gold rim eyeglasses and the S shoes, S sneakers. So I created this Santa, and then I'm like, I'm going to start doing my research. I started doing the research, reaching out to different manufacturers, and I didn't find the manufacturer that I needed. I didn't find the fit. Okay, so here comes the good part about preparation. Placed it on hold for about 1.5 to 2 years.
Really? Because you just felt frustrated in not finding a manufacturer that could produce, or?
Yeah, I felt frustrated, correct, of not finding the proper manufacturer. And honestly, I didn't have enough education to really know if the manufacturer was sufficient or not, right? But I didn't know that at that time. So due to frustration, yes, I put it on the side, and I felt like it was something I couldn't accomplish. But within that 1.5 to 2 years, I worked on me, and I built my confidence, and I started doing my research, and I had a plan, and I worked the plan. And then later, 1.5, 2 years later, I picked it back up. That January, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start giving myself deadlines. January, this is what I need to have done. February, this is what I need to have done. And so forth. Well, guess what? Started working the plan, and the plan started working. And I found a manufacturer that I thought would be great. And when I typed the manufacturer's name in the email, it auto-populated. Well, it auto-populated, only auto-populates if you reach that individual board. Guess what? Same manufacturer I reached out to 2 years before. And I didn't feel that it was a fit. But technically, it wasn't that the manufacturer wasn't a fit. I just wasn't prepared. Right? So after educating myself and all of that, come to find out, I had the manufacturer right in front of me. But what would have happened if I would have utilized that manufacturer at that time, 2 years previously, and not have been prepared?
Yeah.
And that goes back to what I'm speaking of, making sure you're also prepared.
That 1.5 to 2 years that you said you were working on yourself, as well as kind of studying and understanding the space, what exactly were the things that you were doing in order to prepare?
So I built my confidence that, hey, this is something that can be done. Because in actuality, I have never really seen anyone that looks like me in the gift wrap manufacturing industry. So that was huge. So building the confidence that I can accomplish this. And after building that self-confidence, proper planning included researching. So researching my manufacturer, researching the different paper types, educating myself, right, on the different topics, on the different prints, on the different quality, on the different paper weights, right? And also going to stores, visiting other stores that sell gift wrap or sell the products that I'm interested in and purchasing them and then opening them, comparing them, feeling them. What's the difference, right? All of those things matter. So I just took that type of time to prepare to be able to move the business forward.
Yeah. I love that too, because so many people just want to rush to execution. And especially in this day, right? Everybody wants to just move fast and have something, but to take the time and like really study it, make sure, number one, that you're ready for the position that you know you're going to be in, but also educating yourself on all of the components that are necessary for you to be able to understand the right manufacturer and the conversation that you're having with them, and making sure that you know the product and the, like you said, the materials and things like that to have an educated conversation, I think is something just people need to definitely listen to in regards to just taking your time and, really being smart about your plan into creating a brand and it not just being the product, to your point.
Yes, definitely. If I've been asked so many times about what's one of the very important tips that I can give, and it is giving yourself grace and taking the time to learn how one process work or one manufacturer or one retailer works before moving on to the next. You really want to be able, especially if you have a partnership with a retailer, you want to make sure that you fully understand all of the requirements and all of the needs, and you're able to fulfill that with that one retailer. I mean,
Yeah.
for me,
Right.
I believe in taking the time to master the craft before introducing another retailer or something else into it. I think patience is so important.
So after that time period that you said, okay, I'm ready now to really go after this, and you emailed a manufacturer that you were had emailed before, but now identifying this is really the right match for you. Or once you were able to connect with the manufacturer and say, this is the one I want to move with, what did that look like in regards to kind of defining and finalizing your product or your first product? So is it you send them your sketch and then, they design their first prototype for you and send it back to you? Or do you go to the manufacturing warehouse? Like, what did that process look like in order for you to get your first sample?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, as you just stated, definitely had a conversation with my manufacturer, spoke with him regarding what my end result goal was. I actually spoke with the individual regarding the quality and what are my options for quality when producing these products. So I grilled them, and they were very patient and answered all of the questions. That's another way if you have a great partner and manufacturer, because they'll be very patient and answer all of your questions to make sure that you understand, because it's a partnership. So after grilling those individuals, the next step was for them to send me an NDA, to send me that and to give me security as well that they will not utilize my graphics and my designs anywhere else. So first step, having that conversation, learning and asking all of the questions, grilling them. Second step, before sending my graphics, was to ensure that I was protected. I didn't just jump and send the graphics over excitement, no, because I need to make sure that the designs are protected. So then after that, I sent them the graphics and they gave me a time frame to send me the actual sample. But before that, there's actual conversations that go back and forth. There's mock-ups, and that's for any manufacturer. They should be sending you mock-ups and showing you what your product will look like so that you can go through the process of designing it and updating and making changes before the sample even takes place. So once we went through that process, I received the samples and they were just super amazing. And yes, I broke down crying.
Did you?
And the first person I called was Mama. I can't believe it. We have gift wrap. And I cried because the thing that was so impossible, that I thought was so impossible because I did not see anyone else doing it. Oh my goodness. It was like in front of me.
And you could touch it, and you
I
actually,
could touch it.
yeah.
And it was possible. And I get so emotional because now I'm going back to that. And even though it was hard, it was able to be accomplished. And that's just the sample. Let's just make it clear.
Right.
It's just the sample. And I was just so excited because it was so beautiful. And the sample, it was the first design, which is the Santa baby. It's on our website. It's a traditional design. And it was so beautiful. And so after, making sure, we make sure, because now you have to second guessing a little bit sometimes, because next comes the commitment. So you have the sample, and then you have the financial commitment, and you have to send that money, right? And you have to pay for that product. And then the work begins of you marketing, trying to sell the product, trying to raise awareness about your brand. And so I remember getting my first order, and it was like 1,000 rolls of wrapping paper. And I was so nervous, and I did it. And I did it nervous because it had to be done.
Yeah.
Because I was on a mission. And when you're on a mission, and that's the thing you're going after, you're unstoppable.
So how long did it take from you actually getting your sample to actually getting product that was ready to sell to customers?
So I received my samples at the end of April, and then I pushed it to manufacturing the beginning of May. And then I received it in June. They shipped it for me.
I was going to say, that was fast.
And so I remember getting it. I remember opening up the boxes and really falling in love with it. And I remember during that time working on my website so that I can get this product, out and let people know that it exists and that this brand exists. And I remember doing all of that. And so I started selling before the website went up. The website went live in August. I started selling before to family, to friends, to co-workers. Hey, look what I got. I have gift wrap. Oh my goodness, yes, that's me. I got the gift wrap. I still couldn't believe it, right? And they absolutely loved it. And it spoke to them so much. So I have a video where when my website went live in August, I received my first 6 or 7 orders. And I remember filming it and doing by this time it was the boomerang that was really everyone was using on Instagram. Yeah. And I created a boomerang with 7 orders. And I was so excited. I'm still excited every order I get, honestly. And so I remember that. And that was in August when my website was released. Now I had sold before then, but I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God. And so I believe that He prepares me every step of the way. So those orders, I'm going to go back to June, that I sold to family and friends, some of them had to be shipped. Well, guess what? I knew nothing about shipping products. But because they were ordered in advance, I was able to take my time and learn about shipping to my friends and my family to understand what works with shipping.
Yeah.
Dimensions, measurements, costs, how to decrease the cost so that my customers can get more of a value. So I had time to do all of that before it went live. So when the site went live in August, I just started telling everyone about the brand, and social media was a huge factor for me.
Was it?
Yes. I went to all different type of groups and posted about my product. I sent inboxes and asked different individuals to please share my post. And I remember coming across a post, and I posted it myself. And it went something like, keep screaming about your business. At some point, they will hear you. And that was my motivation to keep going and constantly posting. That was in August. Start receiving orders in August, start receiving a few more, throughout the month. But in November, I remember being on the phone with my mama. And I'm like, Mama, I have one order that came in, and I'll never forget, it was my niece's birthday. And I'm like, Mama, one order came in, and she's like, oh, okay. Then I call her back a couple of seconds later, Mama, I have 3 now. Call her back, a few more minutes later. It's 7. Like, I literally remember the numbers. And I called her back, Mama, it keeps going up, And it was the same day as my niece's birthday, and that's so monumental because I remember by the time it was time to go to her birthday party, we had over 300 orders.
What?
My mom said, are you serious? I'm like, yes, it's happening.
Oh my God.
And my mom, she rushed to my home to help me fulfill my orders, her and my daughter, but help me fulfill the orders because we needed to make it to my niece's party. And they were like, is this real? I'm like, it's coming through the website. So yes, I mean, people are ordering. And we just blew up. And that's from August to November. We had 300 orders.
What was the catalyst for that had you have that many orders in one day?
I think it was a post that I made in the group.
Wow.
I think it was a post that I made in the group. And then I also had an ad running.
That's amazing.
And so that was in November. Remember, I only had one design. So the item was doing like really great. And remember, I was a little nervous about 1,000 rolls.
Right.
But here I am calling my manufacturer saying I want another design created, which I had created, but I want them to, print it and bring it to fruition.
Right.
And now give me another 1,000 because, I just sold that one almost. So see that confidence builds. So within a year, what was intended to be one design ended up having 2 designs created. And that second design was the Santa Remix. That is the second design that was created. So that is what happened in November. Then in December, I applied for making it with Lowe's around November, I think it was. And then in December, I found out that, hey, I won the contest. And that's how I got into my first retail.
What is making it with Lowe's? Can you just tell us what that is?
So making it with Lowe's, I'm not sure if they have it anymore, but making it with Lowe's was a program that you could apply for, and you can highlight your business and you can highlight your products to show them exactly what it is you have. They'll take a look at your website, they'll take a look at your business and all of the business that submit, and then make a determination who they select for their program. For some individuals, they would select them to actually sell their products in store for some businesses. And then for other businesses, they would select them to sell their products online. There's not a lot of businesses that were selected. I was selected to sell my products online at Lowe's. Now, hear me out. January came up with a plan, setting deadlines. Speaking of manufacturers, website went live in August. 300 orders in November. Lowe's asked me to be on their website for the following Christmas. In December, then the next year, endorsed by Master P, endorsed by Teddy Riley. I was a finalist for QVC The Big Find, where I had to virtually pitch to QVC. And I remember that first pitch,
So back up. First of all, how did you get endorsed by Master P?
Okay, yeah, so that's super cool because at this time Master P was running Master P Reviews.
Oh, yeah, on social media, on Instagram.
On social media.
I've seen that.
And it was him and Denise Boutique. And I had no idea at the time because you don't know if you're selected, right? But it was him and Denise Boutique, and they were filming. And Denise Boutique said, I want that product. And she pointed to the long box. And it just so happened to be mine. So I received this alert. Here I am, like I'm a crybaby in these streets.
But well deserving, because this is an amazing story, you know?
So I remember getting a pop-up on my phone, and it's like Mah Melanin Master P reviews. And I'm like, what? So I'm running and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my goodness, and I'm crying, Mama, like, Mama,
Call
guess
them
what? Guess what, Mama? And so, yeah, and it was so amazing. And he mentioned that year where I would be wrapping all of my wrapping paper in Mah Melanin. And Denise Boutique, she was so, so supportive, even just throughout the entire process of inboxing and checking on Mah Melanin and really providing that support and mentally as well.
Yeah, people were excited. People were, to what you said at the beginning, it wasn't anything out there that people could really feel connected to, and when they found that, they definitely want to embrace it and showcase it to others. So
Yes,
that's amazing. And then QVC.
yes. So QVC, the Big Five, and that is a program where you could submit your product. I'm not sure if they still have it, but you can submit your products to QVC to pitch virtually in front of their producers. And guess who was selected again? Melanin was selected. I know, right? So I'm like, oh my goodness, I got the pitch.
So how did you prepare for that pitch?
I researched. I'm just a researcher. And at that point, I had no idea what was required to pitch at all. I was a newbie. I didn't really know all the way what a pitch was all the way at that time. So went to YouTube University, I studied QVC The Big Five. I studied on social media and individuals who have participated in the program. What did they do? Any tips and suggestions? And so I just studied. And then after studying, I actually hired a company to help me with my pitch deck. So we designed the pitch deck together. Okay. And so my pitch deck was designed, and then I had to work on worked on my speech, and then I had to also work on the setup, because you're pitching a product. So you have to have your product showing.
Right.
You have to have it set up in a way that highlights your product. So that took time and practice for me to determine which setup looks the best. Should I have it as the background? Should I have a green screen? Like all of those things. And it's so funny because I remember when getting ready to pitch, because you sit like backstage virtually, and then they'll tell you who's next. And I remember them stating, I'm next, to go in front of producers. And so all of a sudden, my little background just dropped. So here I am trying to like hurry up and put it back up with the banana clips, right? Because
Right.
It's a stand with the banana clips, and I had like the green screen on the back because I researched and it said you should have a green screen and it shows better. And it all just fell, right? I'm like, oh my goodness. But in that time, remember I mentioned giving yourself grace. I gave myself grace instead of panicking. I gave myself grace, pulled it all back up within a few minutes, and I was ready to go on. And it was so great because as pitching, like my daughter and my son, they're always watching. They're in the background looking at mom and how she's doing certain things, like when I'm pitching. And now they are in the forefront, 14 and 19. So I did that pitch and it was so much fun. I was a finalist. I did not get the deal, but I got the experience.
Yeah. What were the main things that you feel like you conveyed that got you to a finalist status?
Definitely the brand story, your website, like retailers and partners, the first place they go is your website.
Yep.
To see how it looks. Is it professional? Like, I think that was so important. And social media activity. Was I active on social media? Were individuals responding to the product? Because it's so important for them to be able to gauge that and see, like, is this a product that people really want? And how are they reacting to it? So I think those are the things. And then also my presentation, the information I submitted to them, and then the samples as well.
Yeah. No, all of those definitely. As a buyer, those are definitely things that I look for. Website is number one, and to your
Yes.
point, social media. Are people engaged? Do they love the product? What are they saying about it? All
Yes.
important factors, definitely. Yeah. So with that, how did you prepare for Lowe's? So you were going in for their following Christmas. What did inventory build look like? How did you understand and know what you needed to have ready to go in order to support any sales that were happening during that holiday period?
So we were already selling from our website. And so with selling online from Lowe's, we did it as DSV so that we would sell online and we would fulfill our own orders. So that's what we did. We ordered more than we normally would order, but we had a beautiful relationship with our manufacturer. So our manufacturer was on standby at all times if we needed more production. So that helped us a lot so that we did not over order. And that's what I love so much about having a great manufacturer. They want to see you win. They want to see you win. So, it wasn't as challenging with Lowe's for inventory because we were online. It was a little bit more challenging for Sam's Club though.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. How did you get into Sam's Club?
Yeah, so actually, I attended Walmart's open call event, and I absolutely love their open call event. Walmart's open call event is an event that they would have annually where business owners can actually apply to pitch their products in front of Walmart and Sam's Club buyers. So I actually submitted, and I think the first year of submission, well, I know I didn't get accepted, okay, at all. They were like, thank you for your application, but at this time, right, we've all had that application. So I didn't get in the first time, but that did not stop me from pushing forward the next year. So the following year, the opportunity arose again. I seen the application. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to apply this time. Kept popping up in my emails. I don't think I'm going to apply. The last day I applied to the program. And when I applied to the program, I think that year they had 19,000 product submissions. And Mah Melanin was selected. And Mah Melanin was selected to actually pitch their backpacks for Sam's Club and for Walmart, and our gift wrap for Sam's Club and for Walmart. So we had 4 pitches.
Oh, they asked that you do those all separately because they're different buyers that reflect those categories.
Different
Wow.
buyers, different
Yeah.
categories. Yeah. So we had to do that all different. And remember what I said earlier? I believe that God prepares me in advance. That QVC pitch, that flop, I learned a lot from that, right? So we prepared, and I say we because my daughter was very instrumental in that preparation and helped me throughout that time. And so we prepared by making sure we had the samples. I reached out to my manufacturers. We talked about the prices based on the quantities, right? Because that is information that Walmart and Sam's would like to know. So making sure that we understand those price break levels when it comes to like the MOQs and things of that nature, just making sure that I am in tune and fully understand my manufacturer's capabilities so that when I have those discussions, they are factual because that is the expectation that Walmart and Sam's is going to hold me to, right? If I'm saying we're able to produce this, they expect me to be able to do that, right? So holding those conversations, see, my conversations were a little more elevated because I knew what to look for. I knew the questions. I knew how to have those conversations. I knew how long to take on certain slides. I knew what they were looking for. So my daughter and I, we prepared. I remember like going through the setup because it's only a certain amount of time, that you have to set up your display. So we were timing ourselves, trying to see how to set up our display to just make sure we're hitting everything. And we actually went in front of Walmart, Sam's, and we went for all of the categories, and they were interested in all of the categories. But the gift wrap at Sam's Club is the one that we got the golden ticket for. So we did that in June. And then
What year is this?
21, 22,
Okay. June of
something
20.
around that time.
Okay.
And so we did that, and so we got the deal in June, and we were asked. Now you're a buyer, so you're gonna understand this process, right? We were asked in June if we can have our products available for sale on their website in October.
And you said,
Of course we can, absolutely. We'll get it done. And we did. So we did. Like, I went through all of the training, gave myself the time and the patience and the grace to really understand what's needed when it comes to barcode, when it comes to shipping, all of those requirements. And then speaking with my manufacturers to make sure we had to change out the labels and things of that nature as well. So my manufacturers were like, okay, we're going to get it done, because they never tell me no. Thankfully, they're so great. So we were able to literally get the products on the site, on Sam's Club, in time. And we blew it away. The customers just supported us so much, and we sold out.
So what did you do to prepare for the customers to actually start to buy as soon as it was available on their website?
So what I did to prepare my customers to actual buy is to get the message out. Again, I went to social media. I sent emails to my email list to inform my customers. I created ads on Facebook and Instagram to inform individuals and to raise awareness. I spoke with Sam's as well, and I asked, what is it that we can do with marketing to elevate? Can I get placed on the front page? Where can you put me up front and center? And they were willing to do that. So the first year they did a campaign with me, and they put Mah Melanin in their holiday guide, so that when customers would go to their website and click, they were on their holiday guide. The second year, we did a marketing promo with Scotch tape, and they tapped me on my shoulder to also do another marketing promo with an Instagram influencer where he wrapped his gifts while rapping. So I asked, right? I communicated with my buyer, and I wanted them to know that I wanted this to work. I want this product to be successful, and how can you help me to be able to do that? They also highlighted me as their supplier. I was highlighted in Sam's Supplier Spotlight when I asked, and they seen me doing the work outside of just asking them.
Yeah.
So as I stated earlier, social media, letting everyone know from social media, sending inboxes, sending emails, on my website, creating reels, all of those things that I could do to raise awareness, being guests on different shows and things of that nature. Yes, so all of that really, really helped. So the second year I was online as well, and our products were doing really great. But after that year, I asked to be in the stores, but it was determined at that time that we would not move forward into the physical retail location. And so once that transpired in January, I asked again. But this time when I asked, I went with numbers. Here's what we did. Here are the metrics. Here are what our customers are saying. They are asking for Mah Melanin in the stores. Here are their screenshots. Look at what we've done. Give us a chance, and we will prove success. And I'm like, okay, send.
Well, you had your facts, you had your numbers. It wasn't just a feel good, I want to be in stores, but you had data.
That's right.
To show that it made sense and it could be successful for them.
Yes. And I remember being at my husband's doctor appointment and receiving a call. We were waiting for him to be called to the back, and my buyer called, and she's like, "Yeah, you got it." I'm like, "What?" That's my husband's name. And he's like, "Just let's try."
It's like, we're in the doctor's office.
And so we got that information, and so she's like, "Yeah, and we would love to put you in the stores this year. Okay. Do you think you can do that? And my answer was, of course, absolutely we can. Thank you for the opportunity, and absolutely we can. And she's like, okay, well, we will give you a call back and update you with the information. I didn't get the update until March. But before then, I was already like looking over information, trying to get an idea. So when she like sent the information, it was like, ooh, this deadline, that deadline, product testing, this, that. And I'm like, ooh, okay, let's get to work.
Yeah. How many stores did they offer you for that launch?
So that year they offered 20 stores, 20 Sam's Clubs, our test year. We did really well. So they gave us 50% more this year.
Oh, wow.
So that's really, really exciting. And we're just super excited about growing and being able to offer our products and allow people to see themselves on it.
When you did that 20 store launch, was there any preparation that was different from going in store versus selling online in regards to marketing specifically?
Oh yeah. So we wanted to like definitely build the in-store experience and excitement. So we actually have a life-size mascot of our Santa. And I remember like visiting the stores. He was in all of the Sam's Club. Not all of them, but multiple Sam's Club, just visiting the stores, communicating with the customers, showing them our gift wrap, getting content, getting everyone excited. Even the employees there were super excited, and they understood the mission and they understood the passion. So a lot of the employers bought in, and they were like, "Hey, you should get this product. Come see. We have Mah Melanin gift wrap here." So that was super exciting. We also pushed a lot on social media months in advance, letting individuals know that we'll be in select stores. But then we were contacted by Black Biz Tours, and it is a company within Atlanta. And they actually pulled up on a bus
to the Sam's Club
in Tucker, Georgia.
To support.
They pulled up on the bus. My mentor, his name is Lamar Tyler. He's with Traffic Sales and Profit. My mentor went to the Sam's Club in Duluth, Georgia, and he recorded a video and he shared it. And we collaborated. Yes, I accepted it as a collaboration. And it went viral. Everyone was sharing it. And so I posted in a group and that went viral. I partnered with Dante Lee. He's like the PR guru. He's on social media and he did 2 articles for me. Both of those went viral. Black Enterprise picked it up and posted it on their social media and on their website. Because of them, we can picked it up. I'm like, and I'm just getting emotional because all of this stuff is just like so surreal because I really am just a girl from the hood with a dream.
Yeah.
And that turned it into a reality. And that's why I, really push for when having a business, remembering your passion and your mission. And that is the thing you chase.
Yeah. And then all of those things kind of just will happen as you're walking the path and moving towards your mission.
You can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
You cannot go wrong with it.
That's amazing.
And it just started like blowing up everywhere.
That's so inspiring to hear that story because you didn't even think that you could do this. When you felt like you were ready to do it and you started moving forward, all of the pieces then kind of came into your path, right? Like as you're taking those steps, not really knowing where you're going, but doing the work and making the plan, like you said. And then all of these things that you never expected that help elevate and push your business and your brand so quickly are just happening because you're putting in the work and moving forward and doing those steps. You know?
That is so true.
Yeah, I love that. I love
it. It really is. And yeah, it's just a it's a blessing.
Yeah. So with that, being in those 20 stores and having to go now from you selling primarily online to being in a brick and mortar space, did you have to change anything in regards to your packaging?
Yes, yes. So the packaging that's in the store, we actually added the top and bottom caps because we definitely wanted to make sure it fit in with the aesthetics of the store and that it also stands out. So now we sell those the 4 packs, top, bottom cap. It has beautiful like Mah Melanin logos and information about Mah Melanin. And on the back, we actually have a special message to all of our customers. And so we weren't able to do that at first. So absolutely love being able to work on bringing that to life. And then we also have a display,
Oh, okay.
right? So that's very important because we talk about retailers and displays are different depending on the retailer. And so when we think about a Sam's Club, Sam is a club type retailer. So all of their products sits on pallets and their displays must sit on those pallets. So we had to create pallet displays and then not only create it, but make sure that it passed all of the tests, right? Like all of the products had to go through tests. All of the packaging had to go through tests. The display had to go through tests. So all of those things had to happen. So it is a lot of things that we had to change up in order to bring the product to retail.
Yeah. Were there any challenges doing all of those things that you had to adjust and change to be ready for that space on the floor?
Yeah, the challenge was the time. Because normally you have your line review each year and you have maybe a year and a half to or a year to a year and a half to be able to go through those processes. I only had a few months. I had a few months to learn the process. I had a few months to design the palette. I had a few months to design the end caps, make sure that all of that gets to testing and have time within the time frame just in case it needs to return and go to testing again. I had to learn about shipping and then had to make sure that we fit within the shipping time frame to have the items shipped out so that it can arrive at the distribution center in time. So definitely those were the challenges, was the short time period for me and having to learn all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I do want to add this because you asked if there are any challenges. There were challenges way before retail. There were challenges way before I received my partnerships. There were challenges when I was looking for manufacturers, calling manufacturers and them letting me know that this is not a place where they really want me to be. And I had to go through that. And some flat out was just really condescending. And I had to remind them who I was and that we will be successful. And you will one day see my melanin. Because it was hard, but I didn't let it break me.
Yeah.
And you know what? I lift my head up and I didn't let anyone see me sweat. But behind closed doors, I cried and let it out.
Of course. Yeah.
And I kept going. And I remember calling my mama when I had one of those phone calls. And she said, "You got this, baby. You just keep pushing. You just keep pushing." So when we talk about trailblazers and breaking barriers, those barriers are so hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And they could be so cruel sometimes. But when you break barriers and you change the dynamic and you open up doors, you got to go through it for the people that's coming behind you.
I think that leans into what you were saying too, where you took that time because you have to be prepared for that. Not everybody can take that and then keep going. A lot of people would take that and give
And
up
believe it.
and believe it and give up, right? And say, you know what, maybe this isn't the thing I should be doing. Maybe it won't be successful. So let me go and do something else. So it definitely takes a special person to be able to get that kind of, beat down, I want to say, in a way, and then still be able to come back up and say, okay, well, you're not the one then, right? You're not the one that's going to help me bring this to fruition, elevate it, and move forward. And I have to find somebody that that does. And you did that. So, I mean, definitely worthy of applause because that is super tough. That is very tough.
And the mission was bigger than the guy on the other end.
Yes.
The
Yes.
mission was to prove that the beliefs that he wanted me and people in my community to believe that we don't fit in certain spaces. He wanted me to believe that.
Yeah.
But the mission is to prove that we don't have to believe that because we're so much more and we have everything we need within. But that was hard.
Yeah.
That was hard. He didn't know. He didn't know it was hard for me.
Yeah.
It was hard.
You had to get some pep talks from your mom, right?
Yeah.
Having you to keep going and some prayers.
Yes, I got this. And that's something because not only did I get it from her, I would receive all of these inboxes, and I still do from like my customers, like, thank you so much for creating this. Oh my goodness, your characters look just like my grandson. My grandmother loves this. She never seen this before. I've seen individuals post though, protect her, we need her. I seen that last year. And that makes it worth it all because the mission is greater than anyone that's trying to break.
Yeah. And I love now that you're going to be in more spaces, right? You said you're doubling the retail stores. And so, there's going to be opportunity for people to see it in an even bigger way than they ever have before. And that's just going to continue to grow. So, I mean, that's so exciting as well. And you're allowed a little bit more time to get prepared this time since you still have some months before holiday.
Well, this time I am way ahead of the game. I have been pushing information out, and my buyer's like, "Wait, Ardean, we don't need this shit." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll just slow down. Sorry, I'm gonna fall back a little." I mean, I was just pushing everything. I was just like, wait.
Yeah, because now you feel like it's too much time because you were on that accelerated calendar.
And she's like, well, give me a deadline. When would you like me to have this reviewed? And I'm like, well, I would like to have it reviewed by Friday. And she's like, today is Tuesday. Are you telling me this Friday? I need more time than that. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah. Love my relationship with my buyers. Really do love my relationship with Sam's Club, with Hallmark. Like, they are super amazing.
Yeah. Let's talk really quickly about Hallmark. We didn't really dig into that. I guess number one, my one question before we even get there is, did you have a retail strategy when going into retail? Like, did you have a plan in regards to the stores that you wanted to go into? Or how did you start to have and land the retailers that we've kind of already kind of walked through that you've landed in?
Yeah, it's kind of like what we already walked through, which is me showing up for Walmart open call, me showing up for QVC, the big fine, right? I even showed up for a program that LegalZoom had with the NBA, and I won that program as well. And I was on LegalZoom's website, and I received a $10,000 grant, and so also received credit from LegalZoom. So showing up, I think for me in all of those different places and allowing myself to really understand the terminology and getting comfortable and finding where I fit, like that is really how it happened for me. It wasn't, okay, I have a strategy to get into this store or to get into that store. It was being in those spaces and seeing where I fit and what is it that they really needed and required in networking. And then after getting that information and gathering it, then, moving up to the different levels from just selling online to now into selling in actual physical stores. So that's kind of like how my path went. Now that I'm, into retail, of course I have strategies now, but I didn't have that in the beginning. And I do believe it's very important to find what works for you and the way that you learn. And I think that's very, very important to do that. So mine was just a little bit different when it came to getting into the retail. And I actually did really well at Sam's. So they connected me with Hallmark.
Oh, okay. So they connected you with Hallmark.
Again, it's all about having like really good relationships.
Yeah.
Really good relationships, proven relationships. And they knew I was dependable. They knew that my distribution chain was together and all of that was great. So yeah. that's how it happened. But after getting that deal with Hallmark, I continued to strengthen those relationships with Hallmark, attending events, participating in events, right? Communicating back, like building those relationships to have a deeper understanding of their mindset, their requirements, and just the culture, and and making sure that it is a fit.
Yeah.
And then fitting in with it.
So where can we buy Mah Melanin? Where can we shop the retailers that you're currently in?
Yeah, so you can actually shop on Hallmark's website and on Sam's Club website. Right now on Sam's Club website, we do have our all occasion wrapping paper available. There's a 4-pack you can get for $19.98, and it's perfect for all types of all occasion gathering, like bridal showers and things of that nature, and Father's Day, Mother's Day. And then on September 15th, we will be dropping our holiday gift wrap on Sam's Club website. And Hallmark will also be carrying their Mah Melanin's holiday gift wrap on their website as well. On October 1st, we will be in select Sam's Club stores. We're going to be in a total of 17 states.
Okay.
So super, super excited about that. And we also offer a pitch program as well, where individuals can sign up to obtain private one-to-one virtual pitch consultations with Mah Melanin. We'll go through the processes of what's included in the pitch. You'll set up a mock pitch, and we're going to go through that whole process so that you can be prepared to pitch to retail. And we have a wait list that's currently available. And so that wait list is open, and it's at www.pitch2retail.com. So that is going to be opening up soon. And also our customers can shop at www.mahmelanin.com.
I love that. Thank you. And I'll definitely list all of that in the show notes. So appreciate you, Ardean, for coming on. Amazing conversation. And I think the biggest takeaway is just the fact that, have your vision, make the plan, follow the steps, and things will start to happen because you're doing the work. Right.
And stay true to yourself and your mission and your customers.
Yes.
Your customers.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.